Hello and welcome to Channel Sport this morning. It's great to have you join us again. I am Tayo Salam. This is what the show looks like this morning. All right, we're starting off, of course, with Nigerian players, the Tigers players. The Olympics is done for them, but they're back in action. That's in the NBA Summer League. I'm talking about Jordan Nwora and Chimeze Metu, the shone like million stars for their teams in the NBA Summer League. Also on the program, Luka Doncic has agreed to sign a landmark record rookie deal with the Dallas Mavericks. And last but not the least, Lamont Jacobs returned home to Italy. So heroes welcome after winning 2 gold medals for the Azzurri. All right, so that's what the show looks like today. Of course, still so many stories that we're going to be talking about on the show later on. I am flying solo again today, but I've got somebody with me on this ride. Wilfred Umong, it's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, good to be here. At least you're not totally flying alone.
Exactly.
I'll keep you company, but it's a pleasure being here. And it's good to see that after the exploits of some of our players at the Olympics, talking about the basketball men, the Summer League, they've continued that good run. And for Jordan Nwora, I'm particularly happy for him, being that he had a great season within the ring, and now he's also posting good numbers at the Summer League.
You can say that again. Exciting times indeed for Nigeria's D Tigers, even though they kind of underperformed, underwhelmed at the Olympics. We'll come back to that story much later on the show. But before then, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics is over. Wilfred, exciting, very irrepressible games there. First of all, let me get your thoughts on that competition, all of the challenges that they had to overcome to stage a successful one.
I'm talking about the host nation, Japan. I think they did well because, honestly, a lot of money has already gone down the drain following the postponement of this Olympics. And for the fact that they faced a lot of adversaries, even at home, where there were lots of protests concerning if the Olympics should go on. In fact, the locals, many of them didn't want the Olympics to go on. But Thomas Bach, the IOC president, was adamant that this could go on. The LOC wanted it to go on. And it went on against all odds. I was reading a report somewhere before the games proper that the athletes, the volunteers and the rest of them were told to even wear their gears when they board the train station all the way to the Olympic Village, and that many of them were very unwilling to do so because they felt that the locals were not going to be appreciative, and they were even scared of being harmed in the process, being that there were lots of protests here and there. But, you know, when you look at the way the games were staged without fans, it still didn't lack the glamour. Whenever there's a world record, you expect the cheer from the crowd, but they did their best. They had screens where people were cheering from home, and again, it's when you win any particular event, you have a screen to interact with your family. So in all, it was fine. And on the track, on the pitch, the usual records were being broken. It didn't change much. So I think it's actually better that it held. It's better it held than not holding, because if it did not hold, it would have been a major catastrophe. And it's good that it's happened. We've seen the very end of it, and we're looking forward to the next edition in 3 years. Yeah,
you can say that again. We're looking forward to Paris 2020. I agree. I thought some of the coverage was quite innovative. You know, cameras down at family members' homes. You know, if you get to win, you get to interact with your family. I thought that was very innovative. Nice touch to it as well. Like I said, didn't seem to affect the athletes too much. Despite not having fans in the stands, it's cheering. We saw a couple of records broken. As a matter of fact, smashed records. And so shout out to a lot of those athletes. They sacrificed a lot, and to give us something to really savor at the games. You want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to say it was a lot of sacrifice on the parts of the athletes. Apart from quarantining when they get into Tokyo, they also had to remain within the Olympic Village. It's not easy. When you go for games like this, you want to go out, mingle, hang out. You want to explore, but you're being restricted to a particular area. So you only go from the Olympic Village to the various venues and training. So, but it's so much sacrifice on their part, and I think, you know, the athletes should get a thumbs up.
Yeah, big thumbs up for the athletes. That's why they earn all of those monies. Talking about athletes that shone like million stars. At the games, Lamont Jacobs has to be one of those names coming into the Olympics, who I believe a lot of people never heard of. And is come and is leaving, or is left as a 100 meters champion, the fastest man in the world. I mean,
9.80.
9.80 European record. This one is totally out of the blue. There's no way you can spin it.
No, personally, I wasn't expecting him to win. I saw the way he ran in the heat, so like, oh wow, this guy is pretty fast. But in the final, you know, someone could just spring up from nowhere and win it. And I wasn't expecting an Italian, being that we're not used to having sprinters come from Italy. But again, his father is American. He was born in Texas, so somehow he has that American blood, even though he grew up in Italy, because the parents split even before he turned one. So he identifies with Italy proper.
Of course, totally.
But the thing is, I think it's one of the reasons they even went on to win the 4x100 relay, and that was a very tough one because there was Canada in the mix, there was also US, and they had to topple them and go on to take gold.
Team GB as well.
Team GB were also there. They picked up the silver medal in that. So they've done very well, and you have to give him all the credit. It's not easy. This is his first Olympics.
Incredible.
He's gone on to win two
gold medals.
Amazing.
Amazing indeed. And you can see the heroes are welcome for Lamont Jacobs at the airport in Rome. Of course, he had to go to family members first of all, including his mother, who is a very, very proud woman this morning. Let's take a listen to her.
I'm feeling amazing. He has done a great job. I would always dream about this moment in all his career. It was one of the biggest dreams, I think, for all the sportive people. So now the dream has become true, and I am so proud of all. Thank you.
Very proud mother, indeed. Can you imagine having a son who was a double Olympic champion?
And credit to her. She raised him alone.
Wow.
Raised him alone, because splitting with the dad under 1 year and him living with him throughout, you have to give the mother all the credit, because honestly, if the mother did not throw his weight behind him as a young athlete, he wouldn't have come this far. And a lot of guys that have gone on to do well in sports, they'll tell you how their parents supported them. So all credit to her.
Indeed, parental support is so important.
Very key.
You know, in the lives of the children, in whatever they want to do. It's something that is still a bit lacking in this part of the world, because your parents would rather you go to school and be a doctor. Things are changing now, though. I see parents.
I think it has changed, actually. No one talks about that anymore.
No, I see parents taking their kids to academies and stuff. Like,
paying good money.
All right, then. Congratulations once again to Lamont Jacobs, the successor to the great Usain Bolt. Let's move on now, still talking about the Olympics. This time around, let's talk about a veteran of the Olympics, Allison Felix. Incredible woman. I like to call her half woman, half Amazon. I mean, she's gone to the Olympics at what age? Almost 40, 35, almost thereabout. And she's not just gone there to participate or
still picks up a medal.
Another medal, bronze medal, 10 in total now, making her the most decorated track and field woman.
Amazing. Running in the 400 meters, she's been really great. Personally, I wasn't expecting her to pick up a medal this time around. I felt, oh, maybe she was just going to make up the numbers in the final. But it was great to see her pick up a bronze medal for the Great Britain team. The US team, rather. So the thing is, this speaks volumes about consistency and your training regime also. She's been there. She's a face when you talk about the Olympics, and I doubt she would make it in Paris in 2024, but you never can tell.
You never can tell. She'll be about 38 by then, because she's 35 now, and that's Allison Felix as well, to returning to warm welcome back in the USA. She's won a total of 6 gold medals, 3 silvers, and now a bronze medal. Take it about wherever you are. Incredible longevity for this woman still competing with the best in the world, competing with the likes of Shawnee Miller-Weeble, and managing to get a medal.
Yeah, that name, honestly. Well, the thing is that when she lost at the Worlds to the Nigerian lady who naturalized for Bahrain, was Al Nasser.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, Shawnee actually ran very well in that race, and I kind of felt for her because she was the favorite to win it. But she ran better and took the gold. And now that she is suspended, Ubo went back and successfully defended the 400 meters title. She won it there in Rio in 2016, even though that was a very funny one. That was a dive.
Well, you can never forget that image of Shawnee Miller-Weeble diving across the finish line. And she's actually come out to say later that she didn't purposely dive. She was exhausted and she just fell across the line. Ended up being what gave her the gold medal.
Exactly. Photo finish, but it gave her this. But this time she didn't need that.
Nah.
Yeah, she won it cleanly.
She blissed the whole field.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's good to see her return to winning ways.
Indeed. So, congratulations again to Allison Felix. Very interesting to see what she does in the next couple of years, because she's getting on the beats now. Let's move over to Team GB. Team GB had a fantastic competition as well, too, only finishing behind the likes of the USA, China, and Japan. Team GB, unfortunately, in the track and field didn't do too well, but they compensated for all
Team
of that
sports.
in other sports, especially in cycling, when you had the Kenny lad winning God knows how many medals now. I lost counts of it. But they're also back home. Of course, to Heroes Welcome, because according to the chef de mission, Mark England, this is the most successful Olympics after the team matched their total from the London 2012.
It's expected. The reason I mentioned London, when you host games like that, certain sports are introduced and you get to participate in almost every sport. So that's the benefit of being the host nation. And when that is the case, you're expected to win more medals.
Absolutely.
So that's why I mentioned London.
And they delivered.
And they delivered, actually. So, yeah, it's been a great one. But these are consistent names. They keep reoccurring whenever the Olympics is there. You see Russia. Unfortunately, this time it was the Russian Olympic Committee. The US will always be there. China will always be in the mix. And so it tells a lot about development and consistency.
Consistency and development, and to achieve those two, you need to invest in the sports. The British sporting authorities invest so much in the sports, and it's no surprise that they are reaping the benefits. I was seeing pictures are coming from their arrival back at Heathrow. They won 22 gold medals, 21 silver, and 22 bronzes, for a total of 65, making them fourth on the medals table. Congratulations to Team GB as well. You mentioned Russia earlier on. We're going to Russia now. Unfortunately, because of their doping issues, they had to compete in this in Tokyo as the Russian Olympic Committee, ROC. I like the way that sounds.
Some call it the Rock Nation.
Yeah, but Russia, the Russian contingent as well too, they returned home from Tokyo, and they were welcomed by their fans as well too on Red Square. ROC finished with 71 medals, including 21 golds.
A good one. Not, like I said earlier, not surprising.
These are the big nations.
These are the big nations. You expect this. And the thing that they competed under the Russian Olympic Committee, and they still get this Heroes Welcome. They did very, very well at the Olympics. It's quite unfortunate that these numbers wouldn't go down as go in for Russia. It wouldn't be registered for Russia. But it's still Russian athletes that did achieve this feat.
Indeed, they just need to sort their house, put the house together, and they just resolve all of these doping issues.
Which is what we also need to do, because we need to put certain things in order and take ourselves out of that category A, which cost us, which is actually the reason we lost 10 athletes at the Olympics. So it's about getting your acts, putting your house in order, and making sure that when you go out for big events like this, you do well and you focus.
Indeed. All right, so congratulations to all of these athletes that represented their countries very well. And of course, we're still waiting for the remaining Team Nigeria members to come back to the country as well. We've seen Blessing Oburududu and Ese Brumi already. The others are expected in the country any moments from now. Before we leave the Olympics, quickly let's just touch up on the fact that the flag now has been hoisted in Paris and the countdown effectively begins for the Olympics. And this is going to take us into Nigeria, how we've performed, and the things we need to do. It's less than 3 years
actually
to do better than we've done in Tokyo.
Yes, and some will tell you that it no longer takes 4 years to prepare for an Olympics, that you need 8 years to prepare for an Olympics. Now, if that is the case, we are already behind schedule. But the thing is, we've always done the fire brigade approach, and it has worked for us. We went to Atlanta, we picked up 2 gold medals. We went to the one after in Sydney. Even though we won silver in the 4x400, eventually that was upgraded to gold after members of the Team USA were banned and they were stripped of that particular gold medal. But the thing is, we need to look inwards. A lot of things we did at this particular Olympics, whereby we went on to bring in ready-made athletes from around the globe. They are Nigerians. Take nothing away from them. They earned the right to represent Nigeria, and they are Nigerians proper.
Yes.
But again, is some of those athletes, if they had the opportunity to represent countries where they were born, they would take that ahead of Nigeria. Some of them, and so it's a case of, okay, I can't represent this particular country, let me come represent my country of origin, which is now Nigeria. But the danger in this, in as much as these guys could go on to win us medals and everyone is proud of it, I actually like the fact that they're looking inwards. But let's not also neglect the fact that we need to develop talent here, because these guys were developed through a system. A system got them to where they are, and that system is not ours. It's actually other developed countries that were able to help achieve this. And we are now tapping into it, or more like enjoying the benefits of that. So we also need to follow the same process, unearth talent here, and not just go into games like this and get these guys to come represent us. Because if we keep doing this, we will keep posting the same results. In London 2012, we didn't win any medal. We didn't. Then we went to the next one in Rio. It was only the football team that got us bronze. And these are not the kind of numbers that you expect from a nation of over 200 million people. We should be going to the Olympics with lots of contingent. Talk about 300 athletes at the Olympics, not 60.
Just based on numbers and the resources and the talents.
Sometimes it's not totally based on number, because number is part of it. Like China, number, they took advantage.
Their numbers.
But on the other hand, India also have numbers, but where are they on the medal table?
They're not doing the right things.
They're not exactly where I'm headed. So the thing is, even if you want to go with a small contingent, make sure that those small contingent will get the very best. Let it start from the very grassroots and groom them to the top, and ensure that you compete favorably, not just making up the numbers. Uganda, for example, 25 athletes that's in total to the Olympics. They won 4 medals, 2 of which were gold. And there are lots of other countries. Jamaica had 59 athletes, and they won a few good medals there. And in total, I think about 10 or 11 medals in total. Lots of countries, name them Slovenia, Bahamas. These guys had just about the same number as Nigeria. But you see them register their presence on the medal table. So it's not just about making up the numbers. You could say that we had 60, of which 10 were knocked out because of the doping, not doping, well, it's still around doping, because
it's a violation.
There is a violation. Then the blessing, Mokamari zone. So that reduced the contingent to 49. But even at that, we should have done better. 1 gold, 1 silver. It's a development from where we were 5 years ago. But, I mean, the bar is very low, and this is not what we should be celebrating.
Your spots on the bar is on the floor at the moment. So
actually, someone should pick it up.
Yeah. The Honorable Minister has been doing a review of Nigeria's performance at the Olympics. We'll tell you about that after this break. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. We're still doing a post-mortem, like a review of Nigeria's performance at the Olympics. And before I went on the break, I told you the Honorable Sports Minister has been grading Nigeria's performance. According to him, overall it was a good performance, 2 medals and 5 other finalists in their events, in the 100 meters hurdles, in the shot put, long jump, wrestling, and 100 meters men. So, Wilfred, overall good performance according to the minister. What about you?
Okay, maybe everyone is familiar with the medals. One from Blessing Oborodudu, that's for women.
Yep.
Actually, the two medalists, both of them women, and then Ese Brume, who narrowly missed out on gold medal.
Yeah.
That was a very good jump. It was very close. In fact, it was a tie between her and the second place.
True.
Lady White, the German, had a 0.3 more than them, which was her final jump. Ese could easily have picked up the gold medal. But anyway, bronze, we still celebrate that. Now, for the other finalists, for Obrodudu, she was ranked second going into this Olympics in her event. So it's not a surprise that she picked up the silver medal.
But she still had to turn up and perform.
No, certainly, certainly, because Odwayo was also ranked second, and we saw what happened. But Odwayo was leading that bout, but when she was pinned, that was the end, and that's what happens in wrestling. Then let's go to the other finalists. Chukwuebuka Enekwechi shot put, he made it into the final. Well, were you surprised? We all expected him to get to the final, but he finished bottom in that final. Then for Tobilola Amuson, personally, I expected she would finish on the podium. And watching that final, because she's had a good year, running very fast in the hurdles, I saw that final. I think where the problem was her reaction time, the takeoff. That was how she lost it. She was a bit slow out of the blocks. Minus that, I think she would have taken the bronze at least. So narrow miss for her, but take nothing away from her. She will certainly come back even stronger. Which other finalists again? You mentioned a few
100 meters, man.
100 meters, yeah. Adegoke. Adegoke was running very well. Unfortunately, around the 40-50 meters mark, he suffered that muscle injury and he had to withdraw in that race. It's possible he could have come close, because at the point that happened, he was running very well. So, but the thing is, I don't think we should really be talking about getting to the final. Honestly, we shouldn't. At this stage
of the country,
we shouldn't be talking about getting to the final, because naturally we should be in the final. I mean, when you talk about athletics, it has actually produced most of our medals at the Olympics. About half of them. So it's not something, this is the first time we've been in the final of the 100 meters men in many years. Since 96. But, okay, in that same period, Olusoji Fashuba, he went on, was it not Portugal then? And he picked up a silver medal. Yeah, that's in Athens.
Yeah, Francis Obikwelu went on.
Yes, exactly. Francis Obikwelu, rather. So the thing is, we have fast people here. We have sprinters, so getting to the final is not what we should be. Exactly, we shouldn't. So that goes back to what we said earlier. You said the bar was on the floor, and I said someone needs to pick it up. And so the bar is very low. We need to raise the standard.
Yes, I think we just leave it at that. Of course, this is not going to be the last conversation we're going to be having on Nigeria's performance at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Paris 2024 is just around the corner. Less than 3 years away from now, we'll all be converging on Paris for the next Summer Olympics. Hopefully, Nigeria will be a lot more prepared for that competition than it was for Tokyo 2020. And hopefully, COVID would have been totally defeated by then as well. So we can have a proper Olympics, you know. All right. So that's it for the Olympics. For now, let's get on with the show. And let's go to the NBA. Of course, it's the off-season. Teams are retooling, making signings and trades and all of that. But Luka Doncic, for most people, is the next face of the NBA. LeBron James on his way out. Steph Curry and the likes, they're all in their 30s, getting on the beat. But this young man's 22 years old, plays for the Dallas Mavericks, is just an incredible player, plays like a veteran. But the story coming out of the NBA concerning Luka is that he's now agreed to sign a landmark 5-year, $207 million Supermax rookie extension. Doncic becomes the first player eligible for the designated rookie max extension upon signing, because he's twice been voted first team All-NBA. The deal includes a player option in the final year. Rookie of the Year in 2018, 2019, and has been a first-team NBA All-Selection for the past 2 seasons.
You just said it all.
Yeah.
And when you look at those numbers and
At
you
22.
say he's just 22, and we saw what he did with the Slovenian team at the Olympics. The reason they got to the semi-final because of him, and narrowly missing out on the final place. I was looking forward to them facing USA.
I
in
was
the
looking
final,
forward to see KD going up against Doncic.
but I'm sure USA would have wanted to face France, their nemesis, which they got their wish and went on to retain the gold medal. But Doncic, fantastic player. Sometimes I look at the way he plays and I wonder, is he really getting all the credit that he deserves? Because he plays at Dallas. But again, you look at that should keep him there till around 27. And you start wondering, would Dallas be very competitive for the years to come? Obviously, they may need to make a few trades here and there. Yeah, Porzingis, well, the roster kind of looks just there, but would we end up having the same scenario where Giannis Antetokounmpo found himself at the box?
I was
you have a max deal and you don't have the support cast, even though in Giannis's case you could say Drew Holiday came in to support him and Chris Middleton, but we even saw Drew Holiday always switching off, especially during the playoffs. But for this guy now, maybe even the guys at the back end would obviously need to make a few trades to make them very competitive, because in the last 2 playoffs we've seen them make it, but getting knocked out quite early. But for this deal, I think he deserves it.
Absolutely.
Good money for him, and when you look at the numbers, 2-time All-NBA team, you just have to give him the credit. He deserves it.
Definitely he deserves it. Luka Doncic signing that record landmark rookie extension, the first player to be eligible for is just 22. And like Wilfred has said, Dallas, the owner, Mark Cuban, special advisor, Dirk Nowitzki, all of these guys, I'm sure, would have pitched to him a very good one to convince him to sign this deal. Otherwise, perhaps he might have been looking at somewhere else. And like Giannis signing that Supermax deal at the start of the season, we're wondering, okay, is this just going for the money? How is he going to compete for a title? And what does he do next?
He wins the title.
So you never know where these things go. So,
just like the Slovenian team, it's because of Doncic they got to the semi-final. So he may be doing the same thing with Dallas.
Why not? It's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. Congratulations to Luka Doncic on that, on securing the bag. Let's just put it that way. Let's get on with the show now. Still talking about the NBA, but this time around the NBA Summer League. The NBA Summer League is for rookies and sophomores that have something to prove, and perhaps players that were not drafted to show that they belong in the NBA, and that's where we are going.
Like players from the G League.
Exactly, G League players. You know, we have a couple of Nigerians in the Summer League at the moment, but these two are the most prominent players, Jordan Nwora and Chimezie Metu of the Sacramento Kings. For Jordan Nwora, he scored 30 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, and dished out 6 assists as the Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Los Angeles Clippers 81-78 in the NBA Summer League just early this morning. Of course, Nwora competed for Nigeria at the Olympics, made 3 3-pointers during an 11-0 run that put Milwaukee ahead 46-28 in the second quarter. It's good to see this guy carry on the form from the Olympics back into the NBA Summer League.
Yes, because during the regular season, even during the playoff, you could see that he played a bit role.
Because
it's
for obvious reasons, rookies are like that.
Exactly.
Unless you're the #1 pick or number 2 or number 3.
Even during the playoff, I can't remember him playing more than maybe once or twice.
Garbage minutes.
That's actually what it is. But what we saw at the Olympics, he was Nigeria's, I think it was, in fact, in my opinion, he was Nigeria's best player in the 3 games the Tigers played.
I agree.
And there was a particular game he posted 33 points.
That's the highest.
The highest, which was massive, honestly. And so that's now doing it in the Summer League. Yeah, you could say that he's not playing against the best in the NBA.
Nope.
But the Summer League is full of talent also. So hopefully he gets a look in when the season commences.
Yeah, you're spot on. The Summer League, like I said, is filled with talents trying to prove something.
Yes.
So it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah, you've got to show out. And that's exactly what Jordan Nwora did early this morning for the Bucks against the Clippers. He's been speaking on his performance as well as reflecting on his Olympics experience with the Tigers.
You know, some stuff just comes naturally. You know, you see it playing. I think the more you play, the more you'll be able to, see those things, make plays, especially playing with guys. If I miss somebody, then let me know, see it the next time. But I think it all just comes with playing. You play, you end up seeing stuff like that, especially when the ball's in your hands a lot. So just picking up on stuff and being able to adapt when you play. It was great. I got to play with a great group of guys. Coach Brown did a great job. Obviously I got to play for my dad. These two sons. An amazing feeling. I got to represent the country. I wish we would have done a little better, but it happens. I have a lot more opportunities to play in the Olympics, and hopefully next time I go out there, it'll be a little bit better.
Jordan Nwora speaking after his performance, 30-point performance against the Clippers in the NBA Summer League. Of course, he also led Nigeria in scoring, 33 points against Germany, I believe that was at the Olympics. That's the most for any Nigerian in that competition. Jordan as well holds the record for the most single game points as well. So that was when he came to Lagos. He was still in college when he achieved that feat. What a player, what a talent. That's why I said at the start of the show that the future is still definitely bright for the Tigers. Chimeze Metu was another player who started. This time it was for the Sacramento Kings against the Charlotte Hornets. He scored 16 points to go along with 4 rebounds and 4 steals in that game. Chimeze as well too, decent at the Olympics.
Yeah, decent.
Especially the last game against Italy.
Yes, quite decent. Even though at that point we knew I'm sorry, it was done for Nigeria, but he still posted decent numbers. Speaking of Metu, I don't know if I could just go by. He was actually one of those who complained.
Very outspoken.
He was quite critical of the way certain issues were handled by the officials, the Nigerian officials at the Olympics. But anyway, all that is in the past. But it's good to see that these players have turned the focus on the NBA. Hopefully they get better, and by the time they come together again as a unit, we'll just destroy everyone. Again.
Just to wrap it up on that, when the list was released, the roster for the Tigers for the Olympics, there was a lot of excitement.
Yes.
8 NBA players and all of that, because we've never had that kind of situation before. Those numbers, bona fide NBA players. But a lot of people forgot at the time that these guys were really young, rookies and sophomores. I mean, Jordan is a rookie, KZ, Pala as well, Amio, all of those guys are still trying to find their feet in the NBA.
Exactly.
So going to the Olympics, we got carried away and thought that we were taking the likes of KD and Steph Curry.
No, we beat the US. That was what
beat the USA as well. So
in one of the scrimmages.
That kind of raised the expectations. So when they didn't do too well, I saw a lot of Nigerians absolutely losing their heads.
It did. It raised a lot of expectation. But again, that was a scrimmage, more like a test game. Now, we saw the U.S. lose to France at the FIBA World Cup. If I recall, that was in the quarterfinal. And after that loss, the U.S. were very angry about it. A lot of players said, you know what, we would play at the Olympics. We're coming to play in Tokyo 2020. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Had to be pushed to 2021. The point I'm trying to make is U.S. also lost to France again in the opening game in the group stage.
Yes.
But when they met in the final, what happened? U.S. beat them. Now, when it comes to the real deal, the experience counts, and that's exactly what has played out. These players are already playing in the NBA, and they're playing with the best there is in basketball. They will learn a lot from those guys, and by the time they assemble again for any major competition, these guys would have been way better than they were in Tokyo. And let's just give them credit. It was a good show. Forget that we lost all 3 games. We saw lots of promise in that team. And Mike Brown, obviously, and I must say, I give him really a lot of the credit, being that he's been in the NBA. And being in the NBA, he probably looked around and said, there are lots of Nigerians here who don't even make it into the U.S. national team. If I pick up this job, all I just need to do is bring these guys together, and these guys would do well for Nigeria. And he's been able to assemble these guys. And also some credit we also have to go to the NBBF, who were able to bring him on to handle the team. So in all, I expect more from these players, maybe in a few years to come. Yeah, in a few years to come, this team would have gotten more experience. A lot of these guys will be 3-4 years older, and we expect a better performance in Paris. Still talking basketball. This time around, let's come home. Wilfred said at the start of the show that there's nothing wrong
with tapping into these talents that were born abroad, but you should not neglect what you have. Don't do it to the detriment of what you have in the country. And that's exactly what former NBA player Obinna Ikeze is doing. Pressure 55 has emerged the winner of the maiden edition of the Organized Basketball Network Hoop Summit, the under-18 category. Pressure defeated Veteran Voltage 60-57 in a keenly contested encounter. The third place match for the under-18 was between Mariners and Future, which was won by Mariners 51-48, while the third place game for the under-15 was won by Pressure 55 with the Future 55-10. The one-week tournament, like I said, was organized by former NBA player Obinna Ikeze, who's been speaking on the importance of this competition.
There's a huge gap from my experience being a former professional basketball player. The development of the game in Nigeria needs to start at the grassroots, and there's been a lack of focus in that area, and that's why I decided to found the OBN to be able to build the infrastructure required to be able to develop the programs we need to develop these young talents. We are here to develop the game. The game is open to any individual that wants to invest in the game. So it doesn't have to be with the MBF. MBF, it doesn't have to do everything. The government has to do everything. We as Nigerians have to start taking charge of different sectors of the economy and investing and creating sustainable business models. That's the way it works in America. Government has to be involved with everything that requires attention, requires to be investment. The team was made of a lot of good talents. But like I said, I played basketball at the highest level. And it's difficult to get players within a very short period of time to gel without having them play from a grassroots perspective, understand each other, play together prior before. So there's always we always see things, there's always this rush to put together teams to go and expect to play at the highest level against the best teams in the world, who have been developing these players from a grassroots perspective. The Australian team, the French team, Slovenian team, the US team, all these players have played together basketball since they were young kids, so they know each other. We try to patch things around and hope for the best results, and sometimes we have one or two exciting wins, which shows the talent that we have, but we need to do things on a long-term perspective to develop this talent, and that's part of what we're doing here.
It's all about long-term planning, according to Obinna Ikeze. If the D-Tigers are to achieve their true potential, and it starts with discovering talent and nurturing. How do you nurture? You made them play competitive basketball. It's been how many years now since the league was last played?
It's over 2 years. About 2 years now. It didn't happen last year. Yeah. It hasn't happened this year.
The last one was the President's Cup. It wasn't
that was
like
2019.
Yeah,
exactly. And it wasn't a proper league, actually. It wasn't.
So what are we saying?
That's actually true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways,
but just to say that this is good, but we hope we can start unearthing them earlier than these ages. Even though Yanni started playing basketball, I think he was a teenager, about early teens. So and today, the rest is maybe that's part of what's affecting his three-point game. No, his free throw game, rather.
Free throw
from
game.
The free throw line.
He did deliver, though, when it mattered the most.
Actually. Especially playing at home.
Exactly, when there are no fans to boo him.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for basketball. Now let's move over to handball and talk about the under-12 and under-15 championships in Sokoto. Champions Sokoto Rima Strikers under-15 have started the defense of the title with an emphatic win, 35-16 over Suleja Shooters. That's in the national under-12 and under-15 handball championship. Like I said, Kebbi Strikers defeated their Kaduna counterparts 29-15, while Kano Pillars were the better side in an encounter with Katsina Strikers, which ended 22-14 in favor of Kano Pillars. Sokoto Rima Girls were also in action. This time, they defeated Boko Dream Girls in the under-12 category, 23-13. Last but not the least, Abia defeated FCT 13-19, while Suleja Academy defeated Kebbi 10-6. It's good to see these youngsters playing handball as well.
Yeah, it's good actually, and this is actually around the age you expect to start picking up the 12, exactly. So Good one. Let's just hope they don't get to abandon them after this, because it's not just about organizing events like this. It's consistency and follow-up.
What happens afterwards?
What happens afterwards? Identify the talents, keep track, and if they need grants to help them for that, go on with that, but keep them competitive. But it's quite unfortunate that some of these guys are still in school. Most of them, if not all of them, are in school. And some schools today don't actually have these facilities.
No, they don't.
So you go through an entire semester, you go through an entire term. And you have nothing, because I was speaking with someone who is even in one of the missionary schools. And I asked, okay, what sports do you have in your school? So just football. And I'm wondering, just football?
And
there is nothing else.
Played on proper pitches.
Of course, most times it's sandy pitches. So nah.
All right, so good one, good to see on the 12 and on the 15 handball players are playing and showing and exhibiting their talents, and hopefully going forward. The good thing for the Handball Federation is that they are very active. They've got the Division 1 Championship, they've got the Premier Handball Basketball League as well. So those are two competitions these players can graduate into. We need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll be telling you all about the future of Lionel Messi. Join us again. You're welcome back to Sport This Morning. We're in the home stretch now, and before we went on the break, I told you about the future of Lionel Messi. Still not resolved yet. The only thing we know is that his era as a Barcelona player is over, and his next move is imminently to PSG. And because of that, PSG fans are going crazy. They are literally holding vigils at this point for the arrival of this guy who hasn't even signed yet. That's incredible. Messi mania in full effect.
What? Do you know what it means? It is massive. This is, in fact, it's not even a dream come true. They never imagined this. In their wildest dreams, they never saw Messi coming. And here you have Messi. Not just Messi. Remember, they still have Neymar, who used to play with Messi and part of the MSN when Suarez was the other. And now you have Mbappe. So they are dreaming big that if Messi, Neymar, and what's the other guy, Suarez could score all those goals for Barcelona, we could still have the same thing with Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe at PSG. And again, I must give credit to PSG. When this summer transfer window started, everything just played out the way we never imagined it. For example, lots of these transfers are free. Messi, Ramos, Wijnaldum. When they even brought in Donnarumma was meant to go to Juve. Juve couldn't let go of Szczesny, and he got stuck. And the next option was to just go to PSG. I'm sure he probably wasn't very happy. The question now is he even the right manager to lead the team with all the stars at the moment? So it's a lot of pressure on him, but everything is going in favor of PSG, and surely would be one of the favorites to win the Champions League.
Indeed, you have to be one of the favorites when you have naming about all of this, because these players are on massive wages, even though they've come on free transfers. You can imagine what Ramos is on. Messi is going to be on 25 million.
They all got an upgrade. Donnarumma got an upgrade. Even though Messi is taking a pay cut.
Yeah, but it's going to earn 25 million
I even saw
after tax.
Yeah, after tax. Yeah,
Come on.
Which is still a lot of money.
Are you kidding me?
But that's not close to what he was earning at Barca. He earned about close to double of that.
Yeah, it's still a lot though. Anyways, so Lionel Messi is expected in Paris any moment, and barring any unforeseen dramatic circumstance.
Have you seen the scenes at the airport?
Yeah, they're turning up.
He hasn't even arrived at the Parc des Princes. At the Parc des Princes, see people gathering outside the stadium, waiting. He hasn't even signed.
There you go. Yeah, so I mean, look at that kid there, right there. I mean, she's going to, get the opportunity to see one of the greatest players of all time.
By the way, we are number 10.
I don't know about that. They'll sort that out amongst themselves, Messi and Neymar and all of those guys. But the fans are waiting, excitedly, they're, anxiously waiting and hoping that Lionel Messi turns up very soon, signs a 2-year deal, and go on to help PSG become European champions. Of course, I'll keep an eye on the situation. As soon as that deal is completed, you'll be the first to know on Sport this morning. Why are they celebrating? What's the jubilation for?
It's Messi.
Messi mania in full
Messi.
effect. Wow, amazing, amazing stuff. All right, Wilfred, let's take a look at the papers now. Before we leave the show, we've got 3 papers, and I'm going to start with Sport in Life. Of course, I am not sure of the NHL's penalty. Says Bias. Okay, that's Schmeichel. Casper talking about.
Oh, Casper said that.
Yeah, Casper said that.
I don't get it if it was a penalty or if he converted it well.
I guess if it was a penalty, of course, goalkeepers union.
I think it was a penalty because
I think so as well.
This guy lost the ball. It was Nathan Ake, and he was a bit sloppy. Took his eyes off the ball, and in trying to recover it, he now brought down Ihanacha. That was a penalty, but the conversion, well, he took it. He scored, but I'm not so sure about it because Stefan had a hand. He touched it, but the power behind it.
That's exactly what Kasper Schmeichel is saying. So I'm not sure about it. He went in, but I'm not so sure.
I remember in one of the pre-season games he played, he missed just a few days or so before that particular game. So, but he scored. But when the season gets on, if that Vardy was on the pitch, Vardy will obviously take that penalty, not him.
Of course. That's their number 1 designated penalty taker. In Leicester, most expensive player ever. Lukaku will overtake Neymar very soon. Perhaps by today or tomorrow, Lukaku will become officially a Chelsea FC player for £97.7 million.
Good money.
What do you make of that move? Of course, it's not done yet, but it's very imminent.
I think he will fit well into the Chelsea system because when you look at the way Inter played last season, especially in the league, they soak up the pressure and hit you on the counter. You could say because they played a five-man midfield, so Lautaro Martinez and Lukaku leading the line. But at Chelsea, it's different. It's 4 in the middle, but it's almost the same system. Chelsea also defended very well under Tuchel and hit a lot of people on the counter, relying so much on the pace of Werner. So I expect the same to happen, and Lukaku straight down the middle. So I don't think he will struggle at Chelsea. The only thing is they'll look at it and say, why did we let him leave? Why did Jose let him leave after that Community Shield?
Well, you have to be very fair and say Lukaku of then is not the Lukaku of now. Was still a young star.
Yeah, but he had gone on some loan deals and did quite well then. But again, if he had stayed at Chelsea, I don't think he would have attained the status.
He wouldn't have played. He had Costa. You have all of these accomplished strikers in front of him. Sometimes you got to go somewhere else to prove yourself. And that's exactly what Lukaku has done since then. Let's go to Complete Sports now. Pundits are talking. They're saying Iwobi has not fulfilled expectations at Everton. I think this is very, very
valid,
obvious, right?
Valid? Yeah, it is. It is actually. Well, when he left...
Now he's got a coach who doesn't have time for nonsense. Benitez, yeah. If he's not delivering, he's going to find himself on the bench.
Kick him out. The same thing played out at Arsenal. He left, went to Everton. We felt, okay, a smaller club, maybe you get more playing time, but he's still not living up to expectation. Well, let's see what happens. Lingard went to that was West Ham, and we saw the way he exploded. So hopefully, and this guy is not going to be back for some weeks. Richarlison, I mean, he's not a Pedri who is already in Barcelona. But the thing
Richarlison has played too. A lot of football.
Pedri also played a lot. Played at the Euros, played at the Olympics. But for Richarlison, his absence would probably give Iwobi playing time, and hopefully he grabs it with both hands.
He has to grab it. He has to grab it, definitely. Wakali looks forward to start of season. Salentina, okay, agreed €6 million fee for Simi Wankos. It's that side. That's interesting. I need to check out who that club is. Salernitana agreeing to sign Simi Wanko after that incredible season with his club, Crotone. That was in the Serie A. They got relegated despite Simi scoring in double figures. Last paper, Sports Scene, Son Iheanacho is a big game player. I think this is valid. Well, this is according to Gary Lineker.
Yeah. But the thing is, it was Sparks and Daka that came on when Vardy left.
Yeah.
And I started wondering, does it mean that Iheanacho is back to his off-the-bench role again? Yeah, Daka came in this summer. And
that's more competition for him.
more competition. I hope he doesn't drop to the bench.
Now, hopefully he doesn't drop to the bench. Of course, that's where we're going to end the show. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. It was a fun ride.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure time.
All right. Thank you guys for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Try and join me again tomorrow. I am Tayo Salam.